Yeah, a single mom household is no good. Can't trust them.
I was speechless at her parents' words. No way. I couldn't believe being from a single mom household was the reason for their disapproval. I glanced at her, and she was covering her face with both hands. She must have been shocked. But then, she suddenly said in a light-hearted manner, "So it really wasn't going to work out, huh?" What? My name is John Mayer. When I was 5, my father passed away from an illness. The mother who was left behind raised me and my brother all by herself. I'm endlessly grateful to my mother, who brought us up with no financial or time surplus. Early morning newspaper deliveries, daytime accounting work, and working at the bar at night. My mother, juggling 3 jobs, was hardly ever at home. Even when my brother and I were young, she'd leave meal prep dishes in the fridge, and we could heat them in the microwave to taste Mom's cooking. Mom always said, "Sorry for making you feel lonely," like it was her catchphrase, but I never felt lonely. Because I had my brother, Bob. He was 8 years older, so more like a father figure than a brother. He always looked after me without complaint, and when Mom was too busy to cook, he'd whip up meals like stew, which were really delicious. As years went by, my brother became a high schooler and could handle most things on his own, so he took care of me without needing Mom's help, which I think was a big relief for her.
Hey Bob, help me with my homework.
Sure thing. Oh, math. That's my strong suit. Leave it to me.
My brother was smart and always explained things clearly. That helped me get good grades at school. He could cook, was great at studies, and even excelled in sports. I've always looked up to Bob.
Bob, you're really amazing.
What's this all of a sudden?
Well, the more I advance in school, the more I realize how incredible you are.
Of course. I'm a genius. After all.
Bob struck a boastful pose that seemed impressive. His down-to-earth and playful nature was part of his charm. He had a positive outlook that made our challenging daily life seem not so bad. Honestly, I've never really felt cool. Sure, there were times I couldn't afford the latest consoles, but I never really got down about it. Instead, I'd think, oh well, and stay pretty optimistic. By the way, Bob, soon after graduating high school, started working right away. Thanks to that, our mom didn't have to overwork herself anymore and could finally get some rest. We were able to have dinner together as a family of 3, which made me really happy. So, I never felt lonely at all. I'm proud to say I was raised with plenty of love. When it was time for me to graduate high school, I thought about working right after. But Bob insisted, "You should go to college." He always let me do what I wanted, but when it came to my future, he strongly expressed his opinion. But
don't worry about the money. Work experience might not matter much later, but education is crucial when you're a student and when you're job hunting. So you're going to college.
all right. I decided to go to college, influenced by Bob's strong advice. The fact that I was going to college on his dime made me naturally want to work hard at my studies. I threw myself into studying. Having learned how to study from my brother since I was young, I was already doing well academically and didn't hate studying. So, When I decided to seriously prepare for college entrance exams, my scores and grades steadily improved. I managed to get accepted into a highly prestigious university right out of high school. Both Bob and Mother were thrilled with my college acceptance. Since I wanted to contribute financially to the household, I thought about getting a part-time job and discussed it with Bob.
Maybe a part-time job wouldn't be too bad, just to have some spending money for hanging out with friends. But still, focusing on your studies and getting good grades will be more beneficial for job hunting.
Bob initially had reservations about me working part-time, but he gave in a little, allowing me to work on days off for a few hours. Thanks to that, I was able to focus on my studies and had a fulfilling college life. I joined a club at the invitation of a friend, where I had a shocking encounter.
Hey John, is this seat taken?
Oh, sure not, go ahead. The one who spoke to me was Amy, 2 years my senior. Today was the welcome party for new students, and we were all drinking at a pub.
John, you're still underage, so it's juice for you, right?
Are you drinking alcohol, Amy?
Yo, just wondering for now. I usually drink more, but I thought I'd take it easy today.
I had thought she was drunk when she approached me.
John, you're kind of cute, you know.
What? Amy was very beautiful and had the allure of an attractive, mature woman. With little experience in romance, I thought I was being teased, but Amy suddenly asked to meet up, just the two of us.
I want to go shopping for clothes, but my friends are all busy. Would you come with me next time, John?
If you're okay with me, I'd love to go with you. My college life has always been centered around studying, but it's nice to have days like this once in a while. Maybe we would meet a few more times, and then start dating or something. Easy, now. Typical for a guy with little romantic experience. My imagination ran wild. But it seems this time, it wasn't just my imagination. Amy and I started going out together often, and then she confessed her feelings to me, and we started dating. I was so happy and immediately told Bob.
Wow, you finally got yourself a girlfriend.
He was really happy when I talked about her.
Cherish her, dude.
Yeah, of course. I made a promise to cherish both Bob and my girlfriend.
Hey John, it's your birthday today, right? Happy birthday! Here's my gift for you.
Wait, isn't this a designer wallet? I can't accept something this fancy.
Don't worry about it. It's your special day, and I wanted to give it to you, so don't hold back.
Saying that, she gave me expensive gifts for my birthday and took me to fancy meals that I could never afford to bring her to. It always seems like we go for expensive stuff. Is that okay? I felt so guilty. But she said, "Don't worry about it. My family is rich. I get a lot of allowance," she explained. She was born into a family of bankers and was raised in a wealthy environment. It seems that going on overseas trips and dining at high-end restaurants were normal for her since she was young. That's really something. I can't even imagine that kind of world.
Well, that's because you come from a single mom family. Can't help it. You can't choose your parents or where you come from.
Amy never looked down on me or dismissed my family background. She was always open and accepting. Getting to know this side of her made me fall for her even more. Time passed, and she landed a job.
I got a job at the same bank as my dad.
That's awesome. Congratulations. I was so happy for her. She smiled contentedly. Even after she started working, our relationship continued. Though there was a difference between a student and a working adult, the love I felt for her, who stayed with me unchanged, was profound. I wanted to be with her forever. To be a man worthy of her, I threw myself into job hunting, aiming for a top-tier company.
Hey John, you're really going at it with the job search.
Of course, I want to make Amy happy.
That's cool. Men shine the brightest when they're striving for the girl they love.
Do you have someone like that too, Bob?
Well, hypothetically speaking.
With that, Bob momentarily faltered. It might be the first time I've seen him like this. It was also fresh and interesting. Afterward, I graduated from college and started working at the top company I always wanted to join. Amy was like, "John, that's amazing," and was happy for me as if it were her own achievement. I wanted to propose soon, but the job at a major company was really busy, and I hadn't managed to find the right moment yet. So, I focused on my work and dedicated myself to achieving results. Amy seemed to be doing well in her job too. I had to keep up the effort. 3 years went by. I had gotten pretty accustomed to my job and started to be seen as a promising employee by my bosses and seniors. A promotion seemed just around the corner. This felt like the perfect timing. I splurged on an expensive ring and booked a fancy restaurant with a beautiful night view for our date. I had been earning a decent amount and had started treating her, but this was the first time I took her to such an expensive restaurant. She was thrilled. "Wow, what a nice restaurant. The atmosphere is fantastic." Good, she was focused on the restaurant. We enjoyed our meal first. After some light-hearted usual conversation and getting into a great mood, I pulled out the ring from my suit pocket. "Amy, will you marry me?" I went for it and proposed straightforwardly. I was so nervous, I could almost hear my own heartbeat. She was quite surprised, but soon smiled kindly and said, "Yes, I'd be honored," as she accepted the ring. "Really? Are you sure?"
Of course. Did you propose to me without confidence?
"No, not at all. I'm committed to protecting you for life. That's why I proposed."
Thank you. I've always wanted to be with you too.
And so, my proposal was a huge success. She accepted my proposal, and I was over the moon, truly elated. I immediately reported to Bob. Amy accepted my proposal.
Oh really? That's great. To think little John is getting married. It's quite moving.
It's a bit early to celebrate. I still need to get her parents' blessing for the marriage.
You'll be fine, John. Your brother, guarantee it. You are the best guy.
Bob, thank you. I was so happy to be called the best guy by the brother I've always admired. Meeting her wealthy parents was nerve-wracking, but I felt encouraged. I would greet them properly and seek their approval for the marriage. Fueled by Bob's pep talk, I wore my best suit and went to her house to greet them, bringing along a cake that I found out they loved as a gift. Her family home was a mansion like nothing I had ever seen before. The grand entrance gate opened automatically, and I walked up to the front door. Overwhelmed by the luxury of the house, I rang the doorbell.
Welcome, John. Come in, come in.
She greeted me at the door. Thanks for having me. What a magnificent house.
Really, I've lived here all my life, so I don't really notice it.
We made small talk as I followed her through the spacious house, eventually reaching its most grand and luxurious area, which seemed to be the living room.
Hello, you must be John.
Thank you for coming. Welcome.
Nice to meet you. I am John Mayer. It's a pleasure to meet you. Her parents greeted me warmly, easing some of my tension. I had imagined them to be a bit stern and strict, given their long-standing family tradition in banking.
I heard you met our daughter in college. You've been together for quite a while now.
Yes, I'm grateful she has been with me for so long.
Well, she's always talking about you, so I guess it's going to continue, huh?
What?
Mom, stop it. That's embarrassing.
The conversation with her parents flowed more smoothly than I had anticipated.
Yes, John, you've graduated from a prestigious university and are working for a stable, reputable company. I'd say you are a suitable match for our daughter.
Thank you so much. Her father's words relieved me. I was accepted. I thought now I could have a happy marriage with Amy. But then,
I'm looking forward to meeting your parents too. Oh, by the way, what did your father do for work? I forgot to ask.
My father passed away from an illness when I was little. Since then, my mother raised my brother and me by herself. As I started talking about my family, I felt the atmosphere change suddenly.
You're from a single-parent family.
Yes, that's right. Amy's mother looked noticeably puzzled as she said that. Her words were pointed. It was clear she had a negative view of me being from a single mom family. I hurriedly continued, trying to justify. While it's true that my father is no longer with us, my brother, who is 7 years older, took on the role of a father figure and helped my mother raise me. That's why I became a responsible adult and want to give back to them. They are my pride and joy. I shared my sincere feelings with her parents. I wanted to prove that being from a single mom family was not an issue. However, both of her parents looked at me with a chilly gaze. And then her mother said, sighing,
If you're from a single-mom family, that's a deal breaker.
What? Her father echoed her mother's words.
Right. A single-parent family is not acceptable. Can't trust them.
I was speechless at her parents' words. So, to be opposed because of being from a single-parent family. I glanced at Amy, and she was covering her face with her hands. Probably shocked. But then, she suddenly said, so it wasn't going to work out, huh? In a light manner. What? I was so surprised, I couldn't speak. Amy sighed. What was that statement about? After years of being together and finally reaching the point of marriage, it felt like giving up on marriage had already been decided. But I had something I wanted to say to her parents first. Excuse me, I am from a single-parent family. But what's wrong with that? Her father sighed and said,
Single-parent families are not reliable. Can't you see that? You're not much of a man.
What?
Being from a single-parent family means you're likely poor, right? We might suddenly be hit up for money. Banking is all about trust. If my clients found out I had someone from a single-parent household in my family, it might reduce my work, you see. There's no need to take such a risk. A competent banker doesn't make foolish choices. We have to live smartly. That's why we can't have you involved with our family.
Her father, with a stern face, spat out those words. I had never felt so insulted. Did they think I approached Amy because my family needed money?
Amy, you need to develop a better eye for men. This has been a good learning experience.
Her mother said dismissively. Even though my brother always praised me as a brother he was proud of. Then Amy turned to me and said lightly,
John, I'm sorry, but if my parents are against it, it seems marriage is out of the question. Let's talk about the details some other time. For now, let's just call it a day.
Making a sorry gesture with her hands. In that moment, my affection for her cooled. Understood. I'll leave, Amy. We don't need to talk later. Continuing this relationship is meaningless. Let's break up.
What?
Excuse me.
Wait a minute.
She tried to stop me, but I didn't listen. Continuing a relationship with someone who doesn't have her own opinion and only listens to her parents would never make me happy. Rather, it would be miserable. More than that, I was disillusioned with her lack of willingness to stand up to her parents. I was incredibly frustrated, holding back tears as I made my way home.
Welcome back. I thought you'd be out having dinner with her family today. You're back early.
My mom asked me in a gentle voice. I felt like I might start crying if I let my guard down. Yeah, just made a quick reading.
Is that so? I'll prepare dinner right away.
Mom headed to the kitchen, so I quickly went to my room and threw myself on the bed. Today's events really hit me hard. I couldn't possibly tell her the marriage talks were off for such a reason. Then, I thought my room was knocked on, and the door opened.
Hey, what's wrong?
Bob.
Were you going for the marriage greeting today? Why do you look so upset?
I can't hide anything from you, can I? I told him everything that happened at her family's house. I started crying uncontrollably in the middle of the story. Bob silently listened to me the entire time. After I finished, he finally spoke.
Just because it's a single-parent family, you were treated like that. And she didn't even stand up to her parents saying such things? Unbelievable. John, don't worry about what those people say. What you have seen and felt is what matters. And I am proud of both you and Mom.
Hearing Bob's words made me feel rescued. Yes, I won't worry about it anymore. But I just couldn't forgive her parents for belittling my mother without knowing anything about us. Bob seemed to feel the same way.
By the way, which bank did her father work for again?
I told Bob the name of the bank where her father worked, as she had told me.
Thanks. I'll make a quick call.
He said, his voice unusually low and cold. A few days later, I suddenly got a call from Amy. Was she angry about how we parted? But there was nothing left to say. I ignored the ringing phone, but it wouldn't stop. So, I decided to answer. "Hello, may I help you?" I answered the phone, bracing myself, and it turned out to be her father.
Hey, what did you do?
"Excuse me, what are you talking about?"
Don't play dumb. Why did I have to be demoted?
"Demoted." Then Bob nearby said, "Let me talk to him."
Hello, this is John's brother.
What? Why is the brother answering? I want to talk to that John guy. After the marriage meeting with him, I was told by my superiors that one of our major clients stopped doing business with us because of it. I was demoted to a trivial position in the countryside as a result. How can I endure such humiliation? Why do I have to suffer because of some single mom's son?
Isn't that a result of your own attitude? You insulted my brother and our mother. We thought a bank with such an employee could no longer be trusted, so we moved all our deposits elsewhere.
What, really? You were the president who had that $100 million in deposits with us.
See, changing your tune so quickly just proves you can't be trusted. It was the right decision to move the deposits.
Bob had put the phone on speaker, so I heard the entire conversation. Amy's father was speechless. Actually, Bob, who had started a successful business with a good friend from high school, was managing a fairly large company now. Apparently, there were significant transactions between his company and the bank where Amy's father worked, including investments. Bob had called the bank to stop all transactions, explaining the reasons. That's what led to the current situation. Over the phone, Amy's father was desperately apologizing to Bob.
Your true feelings were what you said to my brother. No matter what you say now, I can't believe you. If trust is so important, you should be more careful with your attitudes and words.
With that, Bob hung up the phone. Bob is really something. He stood firm and cool against Amy's father, who had made me feel so cornered. Later, Amy called to apologize.
I'm sorry about that time. I couldn't stand up to my parents. I just acted foolishly, trying to deflect. But it's true, you are the man I love the most. But I can't undo hurting someone as important as you, John. I accept the breakup. I'm really sorry, and thank you for everything.
Amy later left her parents' home. She wanted to change her life of always following her parents' wishes and cut off contact on her own. Amy, maybe we can't be together in terms of marriage or as boyfriend and girlfriend, but as former club members, let's occasionally have dinner or go out for drinks.
That sounds nice. You're good at your job, John. It would be nice to talk and consult with you.
After that, Amy and I occasionally went out for drinks and talked about our work. She never belittled my family background. Her kindness remains to this day. We became like best friends, transcending gender barriers, each striving for greater success in our careers. As for Bob, he married his girlfriend of 11 years this year. His momentary shake back then was because of her. He cared deeply for us, my mother and me, but he worked hard to make her happy. Later, I too found a life partner and got married. Interestingly, Amy married a banker as well. Even as we walked separate paths, we both found happiness. being from a single parent family, being poor or rich, none of that matters. Believing in myself and pushing forward, that's what it's all about. Throughout my life, I aim to continually prove that